Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome back to another installment of the View series. We don't know if it's Quickview or Junk View until we get to the end of it. Unless it's, you run an RTR rig, it's $500. That's a Quickview, baby. That is a Quickview. This also, I'm gonna have to supersede the oversight of the rocks and say that this is a Quickview. This is the Quickview of the Axial Mickey Thompson Baja Boss. This is the tire that comes RTR on the Axial CJ7 that comes on the CJ7. I don't know if it occurs in any other instance. Trail tires are not specifically my jam. Where this tire lands is in a group of similar tires that if you... they all just kind of start to look alike after a while. Vanquish, Falcon Wild Peak. This is the Proline Toyo. This is a general grabber from Element. Did we cover Axial, Vanquish, Element, Proline Aftermarket? We've got some others around here that we could throw more scale tires. I mean, I guess technically this is a J Concepts Baja Pro XS, so they're all in that same category. They're the same size. They're the same vertical height. They're the same width. They're the same whole lot of things. We've got some stuff to deal with, right? Which is, these are both ribbed and belted all the way around. We do not have a particularly big beadlock engagement surface. The flat is not as big as we would like it. The compound feels like it's not as tacky as, say, Traxxas S1. It's definitely not in the caliber of J Concepts Green or Vanquish Red. It feels definitely more trail. I feel it is going to be a much more high wear tire. It feels more substantial in the hand for sure. It feels like there's a lot of rubber to it. I should have put this on grams, huh? Yeah, these are 100 grams a piece. Trencher, 75. So, flat iron, 79. So, yeah, when you get up around that 100 gram, let's throw some J Concepts in the mix. Scorpio, 80. I don't think anybody's going to breach in that 100. 63 for a Tusk. And what this is telling you, you're like, yeah, okay, now I know the insignificant weights of 4 random tires. No, that's telling you how thick the sidewall, how thick the carcass is under the tread. So we have quite a thick carcass. When you try to deflect like this, with tires that are thinner across the carcass, see, I can deflect the center, and basically the shoulder of the tire either doesn't move or moves minimally. Because of the thickness we have here, when you push it down, the whole tire moves because it's thick. Which, if you are a dedicated, not parked down at the park trailer, if you're a person who drives trails, a tire that is thicker and longer wearing, I have to assume, myself not being a trailer, is something you would search for. The included foam is Axial's version of a medium. If you pinch this way and pinch this way, it feels very close to any of the white, gray, or black foam, open cell / memory foam that comes in any other tire. It feels remarkably similar to the foam, the OE Element foam, which was white once and is now yellow, that comes in a General Grabber AT. It feels exactly the same. We don't do the open cell because we like to take that out. Side hilling is generally pretty poor. So we go with a Canyon Soft, 2 wraps of fridge foam around a Tim Tin inner, and they do quite fill the tire out. This tire is a little bit narrower. It's a little bit narrower than a Tusk, or Toyo is right around the same. So you can get away, Wild Peak, you can get away with like an Injora 36mm insert. You could put one right in here. But pretty much whatever you're driving, I can tell without testing these in a testing setting, I can tell that you would want to run these on greens, and you might have to cut the greens because that the firmness of the thickness of the carcass. So this is very firm on the inside, but the outside is soft. Definitely softer than a medium open cell foam. So we should still get the deflection at the shoulder, which is, in my estimation, where most of the grip of a tire comes from anyway, is the ability of this bite right here on the sides. And the Tim 10 Canyon Custom Soft fits. It fills it out pretty perfectly. They're a little wider on here because these are 40 millimeters wide and a Tim 10 inner is 40 millimeters wide, but this will give and this will not. So we're sitting a little bit wider than in as provided by the factory configuration. Hopefully we don't get too much shimmy of the foam. And these tires are, you know how we do. If you've been here before, we mount 3. That way I get a feel of how to do it. And these are determinedly not bubble juice required. The face drops in. They are so not bubble juice required that you actually have to take special care to make sure that when you put the front face in, you get the inner ring pressed all the way up. I mounted all 3 and was like, man, that went lickety-quickety split. We had no problems. I had popped the front bead on all 3 and the back bead on 1. Remounted 1, popped a front bead on that one, so I had to remount them all. Got 2 successful, popped another bead on another one. So we've been mounting for a little while, and it was my own fault. See, when you get that lip set just right in the ring, it just falls in. Then what you have to do is make sure, hold it so that you can't wiggle it, not even a little bit. Get yourself ready, because what we are going to do is we're going to pretend that we're one of those Amazon beadlock clamps, and we are going to hold one side and use the drill to compress the other side. We're going to get 2 threads on there, maybe 2 threads, and then we are going to skip 2 threads, skip 2 threads, and keep doing that in a circle, almost like they call it a tightening pattern, just to where you feel resistance, either by hand or by power. And hopefully it's trying to sneak out. It's trying to sneak out. I think I felt it snap. You couldn't feel it snap, but I could feel it snap. I think. And are we in the front? We're still in the front. It was the front bead that popped on all but 1 for me. I might have let go of one side too early. There's every chance that I'm going to have to remount this because we popped the bead. So I would not classify them as difficult to mount specifically. There are some tires that absolutely take trickery. These just take some special care, and I believe that is due to the, I don't know if carcassal is a word, the thickness of the carcass, the carcassal thickness. I like carcassal as a word. If it's not a word, it should be a word. And we got mounted, and we're still in. It's not the prettiest, but it's still in. And now that we have all of them mounted, we can show 2. This is a tire that is asymmetrically directional. So you can see we have 2 different types of center lugs. So these are mounted as a left and a right, or vice versa. But if I flip this one to this side, now you see, oh, it's the same now. Okay, so no matter what, okay, I've apparently mounted them all so that I've mounted them all small lug to the outside. So you could mount them with the small lug to the inside. I don't know, like, if this face was over here. I don't know if that's going to make any difference. Oh, no, you can't. I'm losing my mind. Well, that's small lug to the outside. So if I mounted this wheel the other way, yeah, you can. You can't flip them. Because if it's on this side, small lug to the outside, no matter what you have small lug to the outside. If you wanted to mount them with the big lug to the outside, you would just have to mount your rims the other way around. In my head, I thought, oh, if I mount a left and a right, I can just switch the lefts and rights. But no, then they just flip around. It's small lug. They're all mounted small lug to the outside. Duh. So, I don't know if that's going to make any difference. We have had a, let's go and just say, uneven track record with tires that are what I would call symmetrically asymmetric. It just felt to me, based on nothing immediate, it seemed to me that having this lug orientation facing the outside with the more bite on the inside, I felt like when we get castered over and we're turning in, I feel like having the more pointed lug on the inside was going to serve us better than having them mounted like this and having that pointed lug on the outside, because you're not tending to use that as much. That inner corner digging in does a lot of the heavy lifting. I don't know. I make a bit of it up as I go along. And as I said, scale tires are not specifically my jam, unless we want to count tires like the Tusk as a scale tire, because it's just an unlicensed replica of a Mickey Thompson Baja Pro XS. This is a Mickey Thompson Baja Boss, and one has to assume license because it says Mickey Thompson Baja Boss on the sidewall. My worry is that it is a determinedly trail tire. It's just for trails because it is thick and it is heavy, but it looked good. And sometimes we sacrifice a great deal for vanity. Like, I'm going to have to take this tire off again because out of the corner of my eye, I saw the sizer. Some people might be curious. 120, so dead that it's on the line. 120 by 47. It's every other class 2 that you can possibly imagine. It's just about an ounce heavier per tire. Rotating mass it isn't your enemy from the outset. It's a frenemy. Let's call it a frenemy, because we want weight low, and we would prefer it not to rotate, but things like brass rings, rotating mass is always cheaper. Like, you can get brass rings real cheap, whereas brass knuckles tend to be expensive. You can move brass rings from vehicle to vehicle. Anyway, so we've got a little more weight in the tire than we ordinarily would. Is it going to help? Is it going to hurt? I don't know. We're going to find out together. I'm going to get the board. I'm going to get the cameras. We're going to do the thing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a trail tire. It doesn't pick up rocks, really. Doesn't fling things around. I genuinely expect performance right in the neighborhood of the General Grabber. We're not talking about it like this. Okay, this tire's winning already because this is a trail tire, but made it not clean. Didn't hit the beam. Let's see if we've got any buildup on the tires, and that was what was slowing us down. So we've got a reasonably tightly spaced lug. It's an LT tire in the real world. Can it swing it? Can it swing it? Real slow. Can it swing it? Real slow. A little more steering input. Come on. Drop it down. We got that grip and slip, so the rear end's dropping back a little, and then we can swing it around. Yeah. We're not talking raw, absolute traction. We're going to sell you the whole tire, and you're not going to just need the edge. You're going to need the whole tire. Now, can we push back right? Oh, maybe. Maybe. Got to use a little bit more throttle. The compound is firm. Like Traxxas Canyon Trail RTR of the days of yore. We're not doing terrible. It is driving softer than I would have anticipated. That was real nice right there. It has what I would classify as like just the right amount of slip to it. So obviously, I hope it's obvious, this is not your choice for an all-out rock crawling tire. The compound is too firm, the tread blocks are too close, it's ribbed and it's belted. This thing is not going to conform to rock as well as other tires do. What I have to imagine it's going to do is wear very slowly. And like, the compound is soft enough. We have no failures here. Well, that's just perfect. I have to write something down. I have to write down a number. And I have to take things into consideration, which is this. I am reviewing this tire in its capacities as a rock crawling tire. And I would give this performance at Slick Rock an 8.8. To which some might say, well, I've seen tires that I don't think did as well on that Slick Rock performance and probably got a higher number. Well, Slick Rock is not just testing pure forward drive. How much steering input I have to give a tire, the way the tire is behaving. Now, it might pull a hard right line here. But I don't think, wait. I'm not trying to doubt you, boss. I feel it's on the cusp. It's right there. And, there, yeah. This tire is going to make you work. It's another tire that you have to drive to the tire if you want to rock crawl with it. As a trail tire that climbs rocks, I can tell you here on the second obstacle, as good as KLR Trail Spec Yellow. They don't feel as soft, but they can do the thing. They're just not going to make it easy on you. Got a little hop there. I want to try shuttle side. I want to try bringing it to this side, seeing if we can pull up over it. I'm also monitoring things like what is my throttle input. Some people don't want to have to use 45 to 50% of their throttle to make it up each obstacle, and that's a thing that I understand. Also, there are moments that they go. Like right there, I did not anticipate a flop over there. That was the first unofficial self-right, and it did quite well at that. Okay, respect where respect's due. In terms of any other tire, see, there's points taken away and then points added back, because on the main cut on Daphne's line, that was like an 8.8. But the other side was like a 9.2, 9.3. So we will go a 9.0 at Daphne's line. I think that's fair. And we're going to see how this thing does on things like bumps and self-rights. I think that is the stuff that is going to make or break the score for this tire. All I want or hope for out of a trail tire in a rock crawling venue is some kind of consistency. I'll tell you right now, it's impossible not to preconceive notions. I thought for sure, as soon as we dropped into the side hill proper, I thought the rear end was going to slip over. And it didn't. That's refreshing. It didn't slip over. That's great. We should get very low compression on that low side rear. Indeed. No compression, just floppy. Out of frame stage left, the second unofficial self-right, and it was that. It was literally pop. I steered to the sky, blipped reverse on its wheels. Boom. So self-right score might be quite good. We might have come, so grip and slip. We're trying to deal with grip and slip here on the sidewall, and we might have not have enough slip. It's gripping more than I thought it would. And I think that the weaknesses we're seeing, I think the compound is softer than indicated by feeling. by pinching it. But the carcass is, I mean, over stiff, I don't think adequately describes it. Belted and ribbed. It looks like the inside of a tire designed to go at speed. We'll go for the... Did you see the two-wheel motion? We were on just the low side wheels there for a minute. We've got a lot of shoulder strength. Can we get the very high line, or does it pop it back? See, there's a lack of precision because the tire is unwilling to submit to your demands. But nevertheless, I'm just giving an 8.8 again. I get the feeling, and I will not be upset, if this tire just hits 8.8s, 8 odds, and then shows us something unexpected, I think we'll all be pleasantly surprised. So, atop the pile of preconceived notions, this thing's gonna have... Oh man, that was close. Halfway through the thought of, this tire is gonna have to show me something unexpected, and then it almost pulled that. If it had pulled that first shot clean, boom, straight up, that's like a 9.8. And then we throw the average scoring that it's been pulling right out the window. Just like that. That is one of the most unexpected performances I have seen out of a tire in recent memory. That is J-Concept's rupture level drive-through right there. And I one-handed that. So that was throttle only, and it did it again to prove that it was not a fluke. And then we get into some stuff where we need side lug and we don't have positionability. Descent, good, good. I'll tell you right now, there are two sides to the beast, figuratively, literally, and scoring-wise, that's a 9.8, what it did on the other side. It has the opportunity to retain that score, or it has the opportunity for that score to fall, depending on how we move through right here. Little bit of traction hop. Can we position? We can't position left. It won't let me get there. Can I hop around that rock? Now we've got driver rear on a tough spot. There it is. There it is. Yeah, I stand by it. Stand by it. That is a tire that pulled an 8.8 at Slick Rock and a 9.8 at the Beast, which again has, I think I can say has never happened. So prior to that stint over there at the Beast, I was just keeping track of his average score in my head. He was an 8.95. I'm sorry, 8.9 even. Now I have no idea. Excellent. Excellent. How well is it going to pull? Excellent. So tight that we hung the bootay. And, oh, yeah. All right. He's sitting on a number. He's sitting on a number, and we're gonna see where that number goes. Swing it around, cut back. Ooh. Little dip there. How well do we handle the cut back the other way? Needed to go a little higher. So we're between two. Yeah, this is wild, man. This is wild. I'm so glad that you're all along for the ride here. That's a 9.5 at Oblivion there. That was good. I have no idea what this tire is going to score at the end of the day. None. So we test 3 aspects here at Dead Limit, and the objective is to remember to write them all down. Our first attempt is the left and right hand side of Daphne's third, or as I call it, the hard side and the soft side. This is the hard side, and that was remarkably well done. Far better than I would have thought after the initial performance. Soft side was better than the first side. That was, no. I gotta try hard side again. Suddenly its capacity in reverse feels better than it did initially. I don't know what's happening. Want to hook the top and pull it around. Yeah, that's better than Oblivion. That is a 9.6. I'm just writing things down as I go now so that we can actually perform a full test today. Go across here. Hard shoulder. Ooh, baby. Yeah. I caught a little bit of an edge first. Oh yeah. That amount of the gudge there on the sidewall. That's honestly, in a self-right, that's what I'm looking for. I want to see somebody claw themselves up out of the mud. Look at the turn circle. That's 4 foot. That is toit. We're gonna give one more. I'm gonna try the opposite blast here. That is the down forward. The whip. Woo! It'll whip. It'll whip. Ah, man, that's pretty high up for tires that I've seen recently. It's not outlandish. Yeah, I'm comfortable with a 9.5 on that again, but 9.5 self-right is, I thought, part of me was like 9.6, 9.6. You gotta give it a little English. How straight is the bump gonna be? The bump should be straight because I wanna clean them off a little. Yeah, that's good. The traction is improving to a degree that makes absolutely no sense to me on any level. Like the ability to pull this lip when it did not good at Slick Rock, that 8.8. And as I've said, we go back to Slick Rock and we hit it again before we do the wet test. And there's an opportunity to change that score. Oh, right, we're supposed to be bumping. You notice there's no movement of the front of the rig. You basically, in a bump, you almost want the rear end and the front end of the vehicle to act independently of each other. Because if the rear end takes control of the front, it's gonna shoot you to one side or the other. Let's get over to the more tough, the more tricky here, where we can almost drag belly. Yeah, no height. You really have to punch the throttle to get the donkey to come out. Donkey. Donkey. That's that carcass. But if you give it a real soft, like there's a burst, and then you kind of wah wah wah, like with your finger, you go a wah wah wah, a wah wah wah, and then you're up. Bump. I am comfortable with a 9.3, and you might say 9.3, it did great. Yeah. But if you give it just a little bit too much throttle, you're gonna throw your hiney up in the air, and depending where you are, that might not turn out well for you. So, yet again, something we have to take into consideration. Yet again, this is usually where we're testing surface transition, but rain fell on this, and it hasn't dried out, so we can go wide open and barely knock any dirt off of it. What it does serve us with, though, yeah, the reverse self-right is pretty great. So this tire should do well as a trail tire. I'm basically just trying to load the lugs up as much as I can. Oh yeah, look at those crumb donuts. Then we try to position ourselves to where we can clear a bumper. A little bumpy. I don't know. I don't know if I mean, we're not changing the game here, but we are seeing a tire that is a trail tire. And I have to say it is a trail tire. It is ribbed, it is belted, it is heavy, it is thick. But its performance on rock, will it pull that edge? Pull that edge, yeah. That's fully loaded. The front tire looks like a chocolate glazed donut. Now, this dovetails right into a proper test of that, which is, it will hold most of that dirt in the lugs, I'm hoping. I might carry them over, because I want to see slick rock with the tires looking like this. Let's grab a little more. So you're coming off of this, and you're going straight onto rock. What's it going to give you? So ordinarily, when I get to this point, I have a score. I have the first 9 aspects scored. I have a total. We add the wet rock score. We know where we're going. But I think that the teardrop score today, I have a tentative number. But these tires are fully loaded. And I want to see what they do when they move on to proper rock. How much traction loss are we going to encounter? I mean, those fallbacks, we fully expect that, because he is depositing quite a lot of material. Yeah. What we're looking for is how much traction is lost when the tires get filled. And a tire that didn't have a big rough and tumble score at slick rock to begin with, we're certainly not going to do better loaded with mud. I think we're seeing what the wet performance is maybe going to look like. It's very difficult to get forward motion, but there's not as much drop back as I would have anticipated. Come on. Nope. There was an opportunity there to pick up some number. We did not pick up that number. I would give the teardrop score the exact same as the slick rock score, an 8.8. There are some things that this tire is very good at some things, and this tire has little to no capability at other things. Well, not that an 8.8 is an outright failure. I'm just like, look at how much mud is on the rock now. And we're gonna get rid of it, and we're gonna wet it down proper good, because we're gonna have to use some of that water. If we can get some on the ground too, that's fine. We're gonna have to try to clear the rest of the mud out of these tires. I can already say, whatever the score turns out to be, if you're an owner of a CJ7, I don't think you need to replace your tires. Nope, it's better in wet than it is muddy. Slip back, how much? Very little. Now we have a tire, we've got an 88. We've got an 88 performance on slick rock dry. So obviously we don't expect that wet number to get better, but nice. But I'm gonna need a couple hacks here. Bear with me, folks. We're gonna need to take a couple hits at this. Not quite there. Go around. Buffalo Gals go around the outside. Try to get that. Oh, very nice. Here you go. Tire. Mickey Thompson Baja Boss. I remain comfortable with 8.8 as the Slick Rock score and 8.8 as the Teardrop score. I'm going to give this tire a 9.0 in the wet because I never really particularly felt out of control. I felt like if I guided the tire towards where I wanted it to go, the tire was like, you know what, boss? I will do my best. And that is worthy of something. I'm doing mental math here. That is 36.4. That is 37.9, which is 60, 73, 74.3, plus that, which is 92.1. And I think that that score, my friends, is both true and yet not wholly indicative of the capability of the tire. As a rock crawling tire, I am 100% fine with a 92.1. If I got my math right, 70, 91, 92.1. If 92.1 is this tire score as a rock crawling tire. As a trail tire, this is really good. This is better if we were to put a numerical score right now on a Vanquish hold on, let me go. If we were to put the same numerical score on a Vanquish Falcon Wild Peak in red, this tire is objectively better. It's better at rock crawling, and I think it would be better at trailing because you're not going to rip your sidewalls open because you've got a big beefy carcass on these boys. This is not a bad tire. I have no idea what they cost if you buy them a la carte. If they're $35 a pair, they are not recommended. Don't buy these because you can get a dedicated trail tire that will probably trail better, and you can get a dedicated rock crawling tire that will be a little bit better at rock crawling. Probably for less money. Like if you're just pure rock crawling, just buy some fake tusks, man. Get some fusks. And then drive them on the trail, and when the lugs wear off, you realize that you only spent $24 for the set of 4. So there's that. This tire did really well. And in terms of trail-specific tires, I would put these as good as, if not better than, KLR, OT6 KLR Trail Spec yellows. The compound is around that yellow. They feel better. Like they were pretty good at everything. And the wet performance genuinely surprised me. You can be sure when you see the video, you see the thumbnail and you see the length of the video, you can be sure that if it is long or if it is short, something was either very, very good or very, very bad, because I have equal amounts to say about both. If you see a quick view or a junk view and it is of a middling length, you kind of know that it sort of did the thing, but a 92 is a good tire. Particularly and specifically, if you're talking about a trail tire, a scale tire, being asked to perform rock crawling duties. I am pleasantly surprised by the Axial Mickey Thompson Baja Boss. It vaults easily, with little to no competition, over every other Axial tire. It's not the grabber, it's the other one. The one that comes on Capra RTRs. Tui! The ones that came on the JLU. Tui! Any of the Treps. Ugh. Except the Ripsaw. Ripsaw is a whole different thing. We don't count the Ripsaw because the Ripsaw is an anomaly. This tire, Axial OEs, this is the guy. This is the guy. If you bought a CJ7, you have no need to replace your tires. Change your inserts, change your wheels, bish, bosh, boom, bam, you're good to go. There you go. Axial, Mickey Thompson, Baja Boss. Far better than anticipated, and that's the kind of thing, I don't know about you, but that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. So, good on ya, good on ya. Hope you have a good one. Please do introduce your thoughts in the comments below. Above all else, one and all, do your very best to have a good one, everybody. We will see you next time from here in the canyon with whatever shenanigans we do next. It's a kind of a beautiful winter day. It really is. And even more than we hope that you have a good one, we wish you were here truly and sincerely. Come on down to the canyon, everybody. We'll see you next time.